What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to TWR. My name is Tavian. This is my world of reptiles, and I hope you are all doing wonderful today. We got Mango hanging out with us here. I don't know what he's doing. He's all looking upside my head. I don't know what he's doing. He's posing for the camera, looking all handsome, I guess. Oh, we got Kovu who's trying to join us. Kovu, you say hi. You say hi. Don't want to say hi. That's cool. That's cool. All right. So, I'm just continuing on, doing what I'm doing, keeping the videos flowing, letting the topics come to me as they come to me. And this one has recently come to me, or I guess it came to me today. But invasive species. Let's talk about invasive species. So when I think a lot of people hear invasive species and they immediately kind of think of one place, and they think Florida, because everybody knows just how overwhelmed Florida is with all the just invasive species that they got going on over there. I mean, they've got tegus, they've got anoles, they've got iguanas, retics, and Burmese pythons, and just the list goes just on and on and on of animals that have found themselves in Florida and have now made it their home, even though they're not natively meant to be there. Like, they're just not from that area. Now they're bred and they're just continuing to thrive because the conditions are just perfect for them there. And so everybody knows that Florida has a huge invasive species issue. But what I think people fail to realize is that there are invasive species in almost everywhere that you look. There are always invasive species, whether that is plants or animals. There are invasive species just about everywhere. With the exception of maybe like the Antarctica or something, like somewhere where it is super, super cold and very few things can actually thrive there. But I'm sure maybe even there's some, I don't know, invasive things there. I don't know the research there. But the fact of the matter is, invasive species are a common thing. And a lot of times they ended up becoming, what are you doing? Okay, all right, I'm gonna carry on. Do you mind? I'm going to carry it. All right, cool. So, invasive species, how do they end up coming to be a thing here or like anywhere? How did they come to be? Now, a lot of that happens to be just a lot of human error, and just like human just doing. Like, we do a lot of shipping, we do a lot of things. So sometimes animals hitch a ride on the fruits or the veggies or the plants that are being shipped from one country to another, and they survive that trip, and then they make it here. And what tends to often happens is that humans will find them and they think, oh, look at this cute little thing. Poor thing, you should get back into nature where you belong. That sounds logical, but the issue is you take that animal outside, and yes, it's back out in nature, but it's not in its nature. It's not in the nature that it belongs in. It's in this whole new foreign place with all sorts of different food sources and new things, and yes, it's out here in this nature, and yes, it may or may not thrive. So here's the thing, it may or may not thrive. So now you've put an animal out here that may not survive in the conditions that you've put it in, or at least not year-round. And so then you got that issue, but then you got them out there that do get out there, and then they do thrive, and then they happen to come across somebody else's human error that decided, oh, this is an animal that should be in nature, and it gets out, and then they breed, and then before you know it, we end up having a whole invasive species issues within each of these different states or cities or wherever you are. There are some sort of invasive species there that are not supposed to be there, that were not there originally, they're there now. And the issue with invasive species stuff is that once it actually happens, there's enough out there that people can be like, okay, yes, now these animals are here, have bred, like they are now an invasive species here. The issue is you can't reel that back in, like at least it's not easily done. And I haven't researched it hard enough, but I'm sure it would be kind of hard to find any information that says that there have been successful eradications of actual invasive species, particularly animals or plants, whatever the case may be. Like, it's really hard to actually stop an invasion once it is going on, because like once they're just gone, they can just spread it, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and nothing's gonna stop it. And so it's important for us as humans to try to do our part to stop those human errors. So if you happen to work in a plant shop, or I, for instance, work at a pet store, whatever. If you work somewhere where an invasive species are found, like if you find an animal on a plant or in something that, you use some dirt or whatever the case may be, and you're like, oh, cute, it should go outside. Just stop. Just don't do that. Because if you were talking to any of I'm not sure what all the different people are called there, but if you talk to the wildlife people in your area, they will definitely tell you, please do not release that animal into the wild, because one, it may not survive, but even if we don't know it won't survive, period, we don't want it to survive there because it's going to get out and it's going to thrive and it's going to survive and it's going to start breeding, and it becomes an invasive species. And invasive species do wreak havoc on each individual ecosystem. They can come in eating things and eating up food and messing up the whole food chain for everything else around it, and it just messes everything up. So our part there is to not go take those animals that we find and release it back into the wild. But in fact, if you are not able to keep it yourself, find somebody who might be willing to keep it, whether that's somebody who works for maybe an animal education program, or, you know, who has like a zoo or something, or some sort of thing like that, or some sort of rescue where they would want to keep it for education or anything like that. Or even just contact your local wildlife folks and be like, this is what I found. I know it's not local to here. I can't keep it. Where can I take this? And they will help guide you somewhere where you can get that animal properly taken care of, that's not just being let out into the wild where it doesn't belong. Mango, where are you thinking about going? Where are you thinking about going? You don't want to be on camera anymore? You're just like, I haven't been out in the living room a little bit. I want to go explore. I'll let you go. All right, you can go explore. I'll let you go. Living room's blocked off, so I let him explore a little bit. Everything's watched. It's all safe. But anyway, invasive species. It's really just kind of our jobs to just really do our part to stop those things from happening, because it may seem like this small little thing, like, oh, what's the big deal if it can get there and it survives there? Well, who cares? Why does it matter? Because like I said, it is getting it. They are out there eating things that other animals are supposed to be eating and having access to. And if they go out there and they end up, if they populate a lot more, you know, frogs do, they can populate a lot, you know, and, you know, anything like, you know, anoles or any type of animals like that, those type of things can just get out there and it can overpopulate, and then suddenly they're just eating so much more than there is for anybody else to eat. And all of a sudden, all the other animals start getting impacted. They may have to start moving out or shipping off to go find some other areas for food. And then it just affects just what animals are available in that area and what animals are actually able to thrive there, because of just what those animals are doing when they get out there eating and messing up that whole ecosystem. It just wreaks havoc. So it's not really as simple as just letting an animal go and saying, well, it'll thrive. It will, and it'll thrive too much. So just, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and make a little video about that. And I do have a reason for that, but I'm going to go ahead and save that for the next video. So you all take care. You love yourselves, love your loved ones, love your reptiles, and you all keep spreading those herbs.